All right, let's get it going right here and right now. This is Diamond Conversations, and you're listening to a brand new Diamond Conversations exclusively here on the Place to Be Nation podcasting network. If you didn't know by now, my name is Ian, and every single week I sit down and we have a chat about something having to do with the world of baseball. And today, very, very happy to be joined by a longtime Major League Baseball veteran, reliever extraordinaire, one of the most intense guys I ever watched play the game, the one and only Mr. Kyle Farnsworth, joining the show today. Kyle, how's everything going?
Going very well, thank you. Hopefully everything's going well with you.
Oh, everything's fantastic. And of course, we're also joined by producer extraordinaire, the man in the middle, Mr. Doug Barclay. So, Kyle, we're here to talk about Adrenaline Outdoors. It's a pretty cool company. I've been looking into it since we started talking, redefining the outdoor experience. Kind of tell us what that is about and what the Adrenaline Outdoors mission statement is.
Well, basically, I got met up or joined with Zach from, he lives up in Michigan, and I met him through an outfitting company that I'm partners in. So through Darren, who's the owner of that. So that's how Zach and I met. And I've always wanted to do a hunting show, obviously myself. I've been doing my own filming for my hunts for like the last 10 years. And, it sounds like Zach has the same aspirations and same goals as want to do a hunt show and stuff like that. And the only thing he was lacking was kind of like footage, which I had. So Darren introduced us two together, and we hit it off. And as we both had the same plan and goal of just, showing the love for outdoors, how we got started it. My dad showed it to me, and I fell in love with it. I'm passed on to my son, but I don't think he's going to be much of a hunter. But still, it's just a part of family. Just enjoying the outdoors and just hearing stories and stuff like that, and just living life and what God has put on this earth for us.
Yeah, and that's the tagline: God, family, and the great outdoors. And I think that that's really great because not only is baseball something that you share with your family, but this is also something that you said passed on from your dad down to you, and then you want to share it. That's a great project and a great company and a great mission statement to get behind. That's really cool.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's something that it's kind of maybe has been lost over the years for how much social media and stuff like that people kind of forget is how important the outdoors are, just to get away. You don't have to hunt, you can fish, go in the mountain, just something go away from all the craziness and just recharge and refresh your mind, because that's what a lot of people need. You don't have to go out there and take an animal or anything like that. Just be out in the outdoors, enjoy it, nature, and just live life.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, is that something you did during your playing days, or did you kind of have to reserve that for the off season?
It was hard to do that during the, obviously during the season. I think, I chose a sport where the main hunting season that I did was after the season was over, in October to November, December, January, and stuff like that. So, it worked out well. But I know it's something I've, ever since I was little. I think the first time I went hunting was maybe 8, 9 years old when I was introduced to it. And it definitely stuck with me. It was when my dad took me. So, yeah, so just something I enjoy doing, just being outside. And it's just the way I recharged every off season. One of the things that I needed for myself mentally.
So when your dad's taking you out there, what's one of like your first real memories you have of that?
My first memory, like as I was probably around 8 or 9, we went out to California with my uncle, and we're hunting out of the backwoods of California. It's all public land, and one of the first memories of they shot a deer. It's the first time I ever saw one being field dressed, so seeing all the insides and stuff like that as an 8, 9 year old was kind of shocking. I think my dad said I turned pale and almost started throwing up. and, I and I walked off, and after that I was fine. So that memory definitely stuck. And there was one more. So while we're on our way back, or this was during the same trip, my uncle was a law enforcement officer, sheriff. So he noticed some chicken wire in the woods and some PVC pipe running. So we came across a marijuana field.
Oh, jeez.
So So that was I was like, I had no idea what it was, but now I know. And we went down there and started ripping up the plants and stuff. So now I look back on it. I mean, if the owners would have come at that time, that probably would not have been good. so so the crazy outdoors.
That must be something if there's any animals wandering out behind the marijuana field. Those animals don't
Yeah,
know what kind of party they're about to be into there.
exactly.
But that's great again, and that kind of goes back to, same what that mission statement is about family being a huge emphasis. So having, a baseball career and hunting being just not even hunting, being outdoors, being such a big part of your life. Talk about the Diamond and how that was. And was that like your second home outside of the, the backwoods? Was the Mound your other home when you needed to blow some steam off?
Yeah, most definitely, because you're able to be um, pretty proud to say, pretty much an asshole. So you're allowed to be. So, I mean, if you don't have that killer instinct of I don't care who you are, I'm coming at you no matter what. It's hard to survive in that, in any professional sport. You have to know that you're better than, and go out there with a chip on your shoulder and go at it 100%. So, that was just something I enjoyed doing. Competing, since day one, and be able to do it at that level. It just intensified everything, and it's just awesome the way. I was very fortunate in my career to play as long as I did, and this is something. As soon as you walk across those white lines, you got to flip that switch. But then when you come off of it, you got to be able to turn it back off.
Right.
And that's tough for some people to do. And but it's part of the game. Like I said, I loved it.
Yeah, and like I said at the top, one of the most intense players that I ever met, and that's not a knock. That's the kind of ball player I want to watch and see the guy who, when I know he steps up there, he's not going to take any guff or any kind of crap. He's going right for for the jugular. He's going for the W, and that was always something. Now watching you across town, when you were with the Yankees, I'm a Mets fan. We won't get into the Mets. We won't get into the Mets today while you're driving because we don't want you to have any bad memories come up, but. Seeing you, toe the line and that intensity, how much of that was a factor in your game day in and day out?
I mean, not so much in the daily aspect of it. Just pretty much when I came to the field, I knew when to turn it on, when to turn it off, for the most part. But it's just something that you learned over the years, and how to learn how to channel it and do it in the right way, and not be destructive.
But that intensity kind of fits the places you played, like Chicago, New York. Those are places that's the kind of ball player they want. They want somebody that they know has accountability when they take that ball and they get out there. So did you kind of feel that by the markets that you played in and the teams you were with?
No, I didn't think that was just my mentality from day one. So it didn't matter to me what team it was. And that was just my mindset of. When I get this ball, I'm coming at you 100%. I'm going to get you. You're going to get me. So that's what it was from day one all the way to the last day I played. So I didn't change my mindset, what team I played for, because, that just wasn't me. I did it. That was just my mentality from day one. Whatever team it was, I'm going to protect my guys. I'm going to give you 100%. Whatever happens.
So you drafted by the Cubs in 94. You get to the show in 99. So what's that first experience like getting to Chicago, Wrigley Field, being a part of that team with that history? What was your first impressions of Major League life?
I still didn't think it was real. And even some days now, I still can't believe I was able to do that. Just be able to see the guys that, a lot of them you saw on TV, you always hoped and dreamed that you wanted to be able to play at that level and on that stage, but let alone be able to same clubhouse with some of them, and and actually being able to compete with them. That's the other thing. It's cool to get there, but be able to compete and be able to beat those guys that you watch. That is like, okay, wow, I've made it now. So just it's kind of just still. I mean, in awe of what I was able to do and for what guys are able to do when they get to that kind of level. It's dedication to their hard work and not giving up and just having a dream and go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the questions I love to ask about that first, stint up for any kind of ball player coming up from the minor leagues, who's the first guy you meet when you get to the stadium?
I honestly can't remember, but I'm probably because when I got called up, I pitched down at Marlin. It might have been Joe Robbie at the time in '99 because that's when I opened up against the Marlins down there and got the win. So, it might have been a security guard, the first person I came across. I'm not sure. Either them or probably a clubhouse guy. But besides that, the probably one of the first main people you see is the manager. Manager go in their office and they welcome you in, they talk to you, and that, and they pretty much say, "Okay, kid, go get them."
Yeah, and of course, you want to get past the security guard. You want to make sure they let you in the building. So if you get past him, he's the gatekeeper to the real action. He's the guy you got to impress the most, and you don't even know, he doesn't know who you are. But so you get there, how about a coach? Is there somebody that was kind of like a mentor to you when you first arrived, or a player, a teammate?
Terry Mulholland was huge. He took me under his wing, helped me out a lot, tried to teach me the best he could. The right ways to do things, about being professional and stuff like that. Rod Beck,
Oh yeah.
rest his soul, him. Those teammates back then. Sammy was even good to me. I mean, everybody was great, but certain guys, went out of their way, to help me, and I can't thank them enough.
Yeah, and that was a huge year for the Cubs because that was a wild card chase. That was a wild. That was a night. Gosh, I'm thinking 98. No, 99 was the opposite. My bad. I got it confused with 98.
No, you're good.
98 came down to the wire.
Was that wild card.
But 99 was the complete opposite. So kind of you're walking into a situation where this team was right there at the precipice, and then they're down in the downstairs. So how do you kind of adjust to that? Are you just happy to be there, or is it kind of harder to acclimate yourself to a team that's having some trials and tribulations?
At that time, I was just happy to be there, and I just wanted to stay there. I was 24, so yeah. I mean, at that time, I was just saying, what? I'm happy to do good, so I can stay and help the team win. So, besides that, was only my thought process.
Doug, are you still with us?
Yeah, so Kyle, Doug here. We talked to Mike Trombley this afternoon, the Twins, the Orioles, and the Dodgers, and one of the things that we touched on with him is, sort of the new athlete. And I know, you're active on Twitter. You see the guys you follow, some of the younger guys. Do you think that, even just a few years ago when you were retired, that stuff like, Trevor Bauer and guys like that going after not necessarily teammates, but guys they play against publicly on Twitter, would that stuff have flown in your clubhouse?
It probably wouldn't have flown very good at all. There's nothing worse than I can't stand as Twitter tough guys. So I mean, I'm all old school. If you got a problem with somebody, go talk to them. Don't do it over social media. Don't try to be tough that way because because you're not tough. So, but no, that's just the era that these players are in now, social media wise, and that's just the way they do things. But it definitely would not have flown back in the day when I was coming up because there would have been punches thrown, I'm sure, already by
now. You guys didn't want Twitter around for another reason, I'm sure. That's the other reason.
Exactly. Picture.
Kind of looking at the arc of your career, I mean, when you come up in the late 90s, early 2000s, you're playing you're playing against guys like Cal Ripken. You're playing against some of these legends that are from really a totally different generation. And then by the time that you retired, you really saw the next, what you just mentioned, these kind of this new generation. Was there a moment or is there a time period where you kind of saw the page turn from one generation to the next?
Yeah, it was probably around maybe 2010-ish, maybe, when you can kind of start seeing like the new wave era of players. I hate to say it, but it's more like prima donna, pretty boys, as opposed. I'm not going to say they're obviously talented and able to play, but it's just a different kind of play which is fine because I mean, times change and players change, and that's just the evolution of the game. But just the way I play the game and the way some of these other guys play the game. I saw it personally where some guys would just, if they get a hangnail, they don't want to play. Then you get guys, I'd pitch with a torn shoulder. My job was to go out there and play and pitch. So I didn't care. I'll blow my arm out for any team out there. But some guys would, it's just stuff like that. And I think money has a lot to do with it too, which was sad. How players acted and stuff that they would do. But clubs would turn those kind of guys like that and let them do those things, and it's just unfortunate.
It's kind of crazy to see like how social media has played out, even in the last 6 months when everybody's home, and kind of you see, like Doug was saying, the guys that are more active in calling out other players or saying things out of school. I always grew up under you act like you've been there, you keep your business in the locker room, and you don't really bring that stuff to light. So like you're saying, around 2010, it kind of goes hand in hand with how social media took off. And by the time you're leaving the game, these guys, think about a kid that came in 2010 at 19 when all this stuff is starting to take off. Well, by 2015, he's got 5 years under his belt. So now the people coming in behind him, he can relate to them. So it's a real weird progression of life.
Yep, yeah, most definitely. And then, then you get guys, like you're saying, you get guys who have 5 years and they think they got 15 in. So,
right.
And that, that was the other thing that bothered me too. Some guys, like that, and they act like they can walk on water, and I'm in there with 15 years, and I'm just sitting there minding my own business, doing my thing, trying to be the professional I can. But you get these clowns who, like I said, 4 or 5 years and think they can been there forever. but that's like I said, that's when like the game changed, and it's just part of it, evolution.
So how about coming over to New York? That's a great one. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. You coming in to be the big setup man for Mariano Rivera. What was that like? Putting the pinstripes on, toeing the rubber, and setting up for who could be the greatest closer of all time.
No, it obviously wasn't the best time in my life. Numbers wise, it's definitely a hard market to pitch into. But like I said earlier, I went out there and gave 100% every time. Things didn't go as well as I wanted to, but to be able to, say I was able to pitch with the Yankees, this organization they are, I can be more blessed and happy, and to be able to pitch, in front of Mariano and just be part of that organization and town. So, I've been very fortunate to play for a lot of great organizations. That definitely was one of them. So, but, every team I played for, I gave 100%.
Yeah, it was an interesting time in New York, to say the least. And, there were – look, I'm no Yankee rah-rah guy. So, I mean, I was just watching the games. That's all I can really say about it. But, again, like it just, to me, you fit what would be kind of like in the realm of the prototypical Yankee, of a guy who really can, wears hard on his sleeve and win. And that's, that's something that at least I'll give the organization's history, that it produces a winning mentality. It's just an interesting era. That, let's just put it that way.
Yes, it was. So, but that's the way it was.
And again, we won't go into the other New York team. We'll just stay away from that.
I didn't mind the Mets when I was over there for my short stint. It was a good time as well.
It was a great time, but see, the interesting part was the departure, because as a fan and watching it,
it was a joke.
Yeah, it was just and I can say it like this again, just talking about the veteran status. I just didn't like, as a fan, seeing how a veteran was being treated, and a guy who could influence what was this younger crop that was coming in, and it was I hate to say it was a shit show the way you were treated on the way out.
Oh, trust me, I let them know. And yeah, that new rule of the 60-day or whatever bullshit it was, I'll call it the way it is, because it is.
Right.
That it's 45 days where they did that to me on the 43rd day, basically saying that I wasn't producing enough because they don't want to pay me my $1 million base salary. So just as a veteran, just tell me at respect, hey, we don't want to pay you this, so we're going to go with someone younger. Just do that, and I'll have more respect for you than you fucking lied to my face. Sorry for my language, but I'm still bitter about that.
I like it.
So were you a big Danny Echeverria fan last year?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
What happened?
They did the same thing to a Danny Echeverria last year, right? The day before he was due to get the contract, they released him. So what's he do? He goes he goes to Atlanta, and he stuck it to them all throughout August and all throughout September. It was remarkable. It was the same exact thing that they did to you.
Yeah. I can't believe that's so disrespectful. I mean, I don't want to say this. It's just awful how they do that to people. So and you wonder why some players get mad.
I'll say this: your speech. If I was to, what you said on the way out, I would equate it to the Rick Vaughn speech in Major League before he finds out he was going to minors. But when he yells at them and throws the ball, that's what I picture it just from an outsider's point of view.
Yeah, I try to handle it the best way I could.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt. All right, I'm going to hand it to Doug here. Doug's going to hit you with some stats before we get into the wrap up. Some really, he likes to pull out some obscure ones, so I hope you're prepared.
Yeah.
So in going through, your history, Kyle, you really handled a lot of, some of the best hitters of your era quite well. And a couple of them are coming up, when I go to your, some of your all-time numbers, off the top of your head, Kyle Farnsworth trivia. Do you know who you struck out the most times in your career?
Adam Dunn.
Adam Dunn, 11 strikeouts.
Wow.
He hit.
Good work.
Number 2, there's one other player that you struck out more than 9 times, 10 times in your career. Hall of Famer. Do you know who it is?
More than 10 times. You said a Hall of Famer?
Hall of Famer. He took you deep once. He struck him out 10 times.
Oh, Griffey.
Nope.
No, I know he took me deep once.
Craig
Biggio. The Biggio?
Absolutely. Yep, Craig Biggio. But you look through your numbers. A guy like Mike Piazza hit 154 off you. Torrey Hunter, maybe a Hall of Famer, 158. You go down the list. Jeff Bagwell, 182. David Ortiz, 0 for 11 with 6 strikeouts. You never got a hit off you. Did you, when you're playing the best guys, the best talent out there, does it jack you up a little bit more?
Yeah, after I don't remember when I started kind of noticing those numbers, but when I did, I mean, with facing those guys, my mindset was, I'm coming after you versus me, and whatever happens is going to happen. I know it's kind of a cliche, but it seemed like all the little slap hitters wore me out, though.
Well, that brings us to the next question. Do you know who had the most off of you? He's a slap hitter.
Had the most hits.
9 for 20. Never took you deep. 4 RBIs, 2 Ks. Hit 450 off you.
9 for 20. Mark DeRosa?
Not Mark DeRosa. Orlando Cabrera.
Cabrera. I was going to guess him next. Yes, I hated both of them.
Mark DeRosa when it did go, he went 4 for 5 off you. But there's, that's on the other end. You do a lot more on the other side.
Yeah.
So those pesky slap hitters. Anything else, Doug, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask you. We talked a little bit about the Mets. I was wondering, if you've been following some of this stuff with A-Rod potentially, becoming the next owner of the team. It's a guy that you played with. If you have any thoughts on that, A-Rod, the businessman.
Nah, I haven't really been following baseball too much, but if he wants to do it, I mean, he obviously has the ability and I guess money if he wants to do it. But as far as a player wise, I love watching him play. I mean, when he came to the field, he was all business. He had one goal in mind, that was to win. So I mean, to have an owner or have that kind of mindset, like Derek down in Miami. Same thing. They came in to do one thing as a player, and that was to win. They have the mindset to do it, the ability to do it, and to be able to have an ownership that's actually been there. I'm not knocking any owners who've never played before, but to have an owner partial or whatever who's played the game before, I think it could do wonders for a team and stuff like that, just to be able to know that, okay, we have someone who's in charge that knows what it's like, know the grind, know that days of, the in and outs of every day. So, it definitely couldn't hurt. That's for sure.
Hey, he could have been playing there since 1999 or 2000 when they made up the stories that they couldn't bring him in because of X, Y, and Z. So by the team, that'll get him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wonderful. All right, well, we're going to head into the wrap-up here. Of course, we were talking about Adrenaline Outdoors before. Please, we're going to give you the floor once again. Tell the listeners of Diamond Conversations a little bit more about it, where they can find information on it, and wherever they can find you, because you're a very active social media participant, and that is very cool. So, the floor is yours. Please share with us.
Yeah, so we're just starting up Adrenaline Outdoors. We're on Facebook, Adrenaline Outdoors, on Twitter. Same thing, Adrenaline Outdoors 1, I believe. So we're just trying to get ready for this new season coming up and getting some videos up and done and cut and edited and stuff like that for viewers to watch, just to share our passion, for what we enjoy doing outside of playing baseball, and just sharing it with our family. Like I said, God, family, and country. So, just what a lot of Americans love and enjoy, and being outside and everything like that. And then, my normal Twitter, and I believe is this at 24/7 Farnsworth is my Twitter. Then the Kyle Farnsworth is my Instagram. So, I interact with fans on both of them. So I just try to, enjoy it.
Yeah, you share a lot of great stuff, getting to see your son and how he's progressing, and it's very cool. So, you got fans in the Diamond Conversations universe, that's for sure, and we appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Coming on tonight, and that's going to be the end of the show here. If you want to follow me, it's at Chad EMB. For the man in the middle, it's at Doug Barclay 17, and for the show, it's at Diamond Conversations. This was Kyle Farnsworth, and for this time on Diamond Conversations, we're out of time, so we'll see you next time. Take care.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Kyle. Have a great night, man.
All right, welcome anytime.